Let me guess. You finally crossed a number you never thought you'd hit. Not a million, not financial freedom, just $250,000 net worth. And instead of fireworks, champagne, or feeling rich, you mostly feel confused. Because on paper, you're doing better than most people you know. But in real life, you still hesitate before ordering guacamole. You still check your bank app more than you want to admit. And you're thinking, I thought I'd feel further ahead than this. If that thought has crossed your mind, even once, yeah, this video is for you. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, net worth, and why progress never feels as big as we expect it to. If you're someone who's doing everything right financially but still feels like you're behind or stuck, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today we're talking about what really happens after you cross a $250,000 net worth. The good, the uncomfortable, and the parts nobody warns you about. Why $250,000 is a weird number. Here's the thing. $250,000 isn't a sexy milestone. It doesn't get talked about like $100,000 or $1 million. But psychologically, it's one of the most dangerous financial zones you'll ever enter. Why? Because this is where expectation collides with reality. Most people think $250,000 means I should feel secure, I should feel ahead. Money stress should mostly be gone. But instead, what happens is your fear doesn't disappear, your confidence doesn't fully arrive, and your decisions start getting way more expensive. This is where it gets really interesting. The data most people never see. Let's ground this in reality for a second. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median net worth in the U.S. is roughly $192,000 for households nearing retirement. For people under 40, the median net worth is closer to $40,000 to $60,000. So if you've crossed $250,000, statistically speaking, you're ahead of most households. You're ahead of most people your age. You're doing objectively well. And yet, most people at this level feel behind. Why? Because wealth is relative, and your reference group has changed. The first thing that really happens. Your peer group shifts. Here's what most people don't realize. As your net worth grows, your comparison set changes automatically. You don't compare yourself to the average American, people drowning in debt. The version of you from 10 years ago. You compare yourself to coworkers who own nicer homes, friends who invest more aggressively, internet strangers who hit $1 million at 32. So even though you've climbed the ladder, you're standing on a higher rung, looking at an even higher one. Psychologists call this reference group theory. I call it the reason financial progress never feels satisfying. The second thing, money stops feeling real. Now let's talk about something subtle but dangerous. At $250,000 net worth, money starts to lose its emotional weight. Not enough to feel rich, but enough to feel abstract. Here's an example. If your net worth is $25,000, a $5,000 mistake is terrifying. If your net worth is $250,000, a $5,000 mistake feels more manageable. So you start saying things like, it's only a few thousand. I can make that back. It won't matter long term. Sometimes it does matter, because small leaks compound, just like investments. The math people don't do. Let's do simple math. Say you're 35 years old. You have $250,000 invested. Your long-term return is 7%. If you never add another dollar, at 45 to approximately $490,000, at 55 to approximately $960,000, at 65 to approximately $1.9 million. Now here's the uncomfortable part. If you start leaking $1,000 per month in lifestyle creep, that's $12,000 per year, which could have grown to over $230,000 in 30 years. That's not a latte problem. That's a house problem. The third thing, lifestyle pressure quietly spikes. Nobody forces you to upgrade, but the pressure is everywhere. A nicer apartment feels reasonable. A newer car feels safe. Better vacations feel deserved. And look, I'm not anti-enjoying life, but here's the trap. You're no longer upgrading from need. You're upgrading from comfort, which means every upgrade delivers. Less happiness, more fixed costs, higher break-even stress. This is why so many people stall out between $250,000 and $500,000. Addressing the objection. Now you might be thinking, John, isn't this just normal? Isn't this what success looks like? Sort of. But here's the difference between people who break through and people who plateau for decades. One group locks in leverage, the other locks in lifestyle. And once lifestyle costs harden, they're incredibly hard to reverse. The psychology behind the stall. This is where psychology really kicks in. At $250,000 net worth, your brain does something sneaky. It shifts from, how do I build? To, how do I protect? That sounds responsible. But protection mode thinking leads to over-conservatism, analysis paralysis, fear-based decisions. People stop taking smart risks. They stop investing in growth. They start optimizing for comfort instead of trajectory. The analogy that makes this click. Think of $250,000 like reaching cruising altitude in a plane. You're no longer climbing aggressively. The ride feels smoother. The danger feels lower. But if the engine's cut out here, you're still falling, just from higher up. Momentum still matters. Direction still matters. And complacency is expensive. What successful people do differently at $250,000? Here's what separates the people who blow past this level. 1. They lock in systems, not feelings. They don't ask, do I feel rich enough? They ask, is my system automated and scalable? Automatic investing, clear asset allocation, pre-committed rules for spending increases, no vibes, just structure. 2, they define enough for this stage, not forever, just for now. They decide what lifestyle is good enough, what upgrades are allowed, what gets delayed until the next milestone. This creates psychological safety without stagnation. 3, they protect their margin, not their ego. They keep high savings rates, high flexibility, low fixed costs relative to income, because margin equals freedom, and freedom compounds faster than status. Actionable steps you can apply this week. Let's get practical. Step 1, freeze lifestyle for 12 months. No major upgrades, no new fixed costs. Let income growth widen the gap. Step 2, recalculate your freedom number. Not retirement, just the number where work becomes optional-ish. Step 3, automate, aggressively invest first. Spend what's left, not the other way around. Step 4, raise your financial reference group. Learn from people 10 years ahead of you, not influencers selling shortcuts. The surprising truth about $250,000. Here's what most people don't realize. $250,000 isn't the finish line. It's the launch pad, but only if you treat it like capital. Not validation, not permission to relax, not proof you've made it, just fuel. I've seen this play out dozens of times. 2 people, same income, same net worth. 5 years later, one is stressed, stuck, and confused. The other is calm, confident, and compounding. The difference wasn't intelligence. It was discipline during the boring middle. Look, if you've crossed $250,000 net worth, you're not behind, you're not late, and you're not doing it wrong. You're just standing at a fork in the road most people don't even reach. Choose systems over status, momentum over comfort, and intention over impulse. If this video helped you see your situation more clearly, hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want more videos about building wealth without falling into the traps nobody warns you about, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next one.